Well, hey there everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the workshop. If you've noticed in my past videos, you notice that I was about 240 to 245 pounds, sometimes 250. Well, I've switched jobs and I work in a tire and lube express where I do a lot of tire work, tire swaps, rotation, balance, oil changes and stuff like that, fuel injection services, and I've been pretty busy lately, and I haven't been doing a whole lot with my channel, but I do have some good news. I've lost a bunch of weight. Right now, I'm down to 208 pounds, which I haven't weighed this much since I was in my 20s, which is more years ago than I care to think about. Anyway, I bought a brand new set of blades to put on my riding mower, and I made a couple of rounds cutting grass, and I hit a stump and I didn't take into account, see, this stump I could put my deck all the way up as high as it would go and it would clear it, but the blades that I put on my lawnmower are mulching blades, so they have more of an angle, and my blade on my lawnmower caught that stump, bent the crap out of it so bad that it will actually drag the ground. So anyway, we're getting ready to get started here. I'm going to rip the blades back off of my deck and see if we can't straighten that blade out. But I'm going to take both blades off and I'll show you why here in just a little bit. Alright, well, you see that blade? Not too bad at that end. That end is pretty bad. And that blade right there. Great. You know what? I think I ruined both those blades. So, instead of, yeah, I was thinking I could straighten them out. But with both of them bent, I can't match that one over to this one. That is bad. Okay, so instead of a blade straightening video, we're going to do a blade replacement video. We're going to take the old blades and sharpen them up and balance them and put them back on. Yeah, I just ruined a $65 set of blades. Those things are shot. Wow. There's no fixing that. Okay, yeah, blade replacement on a Husky LT 4200. By the way, the guards that go over my pulleys, they broke. They were cheap tin, and I just took me some aluminum angle iron and cut it, set it where I wanted it, drilled it, and bolted them on there to keep my belt from falling off every time I shut the deck down. But this is the results of my extreme off-road mowing. See, that pulley there is bent, so I got to straighten it back out too. Yeah, I got a little bit more work here than I thought. Alright, well, we'll fix it. Anyway, stay tuned. Okay, well, I got my impact set up with a 15/16 socket. Let's see if we can pull them off. Now, if you don't have an air impact, you can use a block of wood, put you a half-inch drive 5/16 socket on a ratchet, and use a block of wood, put a cheater bar on it, and if that don't work, you can hit your handle your ratchet with a dead blow hammer and vibrate it off. Alright, there's that one. That one's pretty bent. And we'll go around to the other side and get the other one off. Sorry my tripod don't go short enough for you to see the action here, but Now we're over to the belt sander. The reason why I choose to use a belt sander instead of a grinder is I get a lot smoother edge on my blades, and I don't heat up the edge as much with my belt sander as I would with my big grinder over there. So let's get sharpening. I'm not throwing a lot of sparks, which tells me that this is not a tempered steel blade. It's a heat hardenable blade, but if you see the contours of it, this is just a mild or a low carbon stamped steel blade. When I'm sharpening it, I'm doing it edge up so that I don't create a big burr on the backside, which I do have some dings that I need to polish out. Now, if you don't have one of these belt sanders, you can use an angle grinder with a flap wheel, but you want to do light pressure and move across it quick so you don't heat that blade up and take whatever temper there is out of that blade. But when I balance them, I'll usually use a flap wheel to take the material off to balance that blade. So you can see that blade's not really balanced now because this end here is quite a bit heavier than the other end. Anyway, we're going to work on it some more. Now, if you look, I've still got a bunch of dings in this blade. I'm not willing to take it back far enough to take all those dings out. And, I mean, it's a lawnmower, you're cutting grass, so you can have a few dings in your blade and it should be okay. Because those dings, if you do it right, will actually work like a serrated edge knife. So when you're mowing, it's basically like you're mowing with a slightly serrated edge knife, and they do pretty good as long as you don't have a dead good flat spot on that blade. Alright, anyway, I'm going to work on these a little bit more and then I'll show you the results. Okay, well, we're getting ready to balance the blade, but I do want to go over something. You see what that is? If you guys work in a shop, you know that that's blue Loctite. I also have red Loctite. You don't want to use Loctite on these nuts when you reinstall it. And if you don't want to spend a whole bunch of money, you can get these single packets of anti-seize, or you can order a bottle of it. But the reason why my blades come off my mower so easy is because I put anti-seize on those bolts before I put them on there. And anyway, it keeps it from rusting on there, and it keeps you from fighting to remove it. Now, if you don't have anti-seize, which these are like 99 cents at your auto parts store, you know, but if you can't get a hold of the anti-seize, then you can coat that stud with grease or engine assembly lube. Now, how I balance my blade is I've got this big step drill bit, and I'm going to put it down in my vise. Like that. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, this is not a space shuttle. This is not a race car. It's a lawnmower. So I set the blade on there, and I just kind of see how it balances out. That one right there is pretty close. It's a little heavy on this end, so I need to hit this a couple more times on the belt sander, and it'll balance out pretty good. But it's just a hair heavy on this side. So we're going to touch this a couple more times. But you see my dings on my blade, but they're not that bad. I've still got a decent edge. You don't want a razor edge on these because a razor edge is going to dull. It's more like a split and maul edge is what you want. And I've still got those couple of dings, but I've took a lot of these out. So anyway, I'm going to knock a little bit more off of this side, and then we'll do the other blade. Okay, so I got blade number 2 done, and I've still got my dings in the blade, but it'll cut cardboard. So that's good enough to cut grass. Even with some dings in that blade, it's still going to cut grass, because with the dings, I took a file and I went down in there and kind of put a little bit of an edge on those dings. So let's see how our balance is on this one. Yeah, see, it's heavy on this end, light on this end. And I want to drop it on there a few times. See how heavy it is on that end, lighter on this end. So I need to take some more material off of this side to balance that blade out. If I don't balance this blade, then what's going to happen is I'm going to have an unbalanced blade, and it's going to cause a lot of shake on my deck, which can wear out my deck spindles. So we're going to take some more off of that, and then we'll check it again. Alright, so I've taken more off of that, and we'll see how it balances now. And I want to check it several times and see what the majority does. I'd say that's pretty close. And this is a piece of paper. You know, I got a saw to get through it, but it's still a pretty sharp blade with dings. But it still cuts pretty good. Especially with that kind of single bevel edge. Even with dings in that blade, it's still pretty good. And then you could also just use your finger and center it up and see how that blade balances that way too. So if you don't have one of these step bits, you could balance it on your finger. If you have a round hole in the center, then you can use a piece of wire and hang it this way to balance that blade. Or, you know, just a coat hanger with a hook, and you can put it on there. But since I have a star pattern, and on these Huskies it's a 6-point star to balance them out. So you can just kind of balance them with your hand like this and get it pretty close. Close enough. I mean, like I said, it's not rocket science. We're not working on a space shuttle. We're not sending somebody to the moon. We're not working on a drag race car. We're just working on a lawnmower blade that you're going to cut your grass with. So it doesn't have to be perfect, just close. Okay, well, we got our blades balanced and ready to reinstall. And of course it's raining. Go figure. So So we're going to take our no-sees, we're going to open it up. And we're going to put some on our fingers. And put it on that bolt, on that spindle. Then we're going to put our blade on there, cog it in. That one's good. And we'll move over to the other side. Put some more anti-seize on this side. Now I just gotta find my nut. Yeah. Go ahead and laugh. Where's the nut? Okay, we're gonna have to have an intermission so I can find my nut. There it is. Never mind. No intermission. Found my nut. And on this particular mower, we don't have blade timing. So we don't have to worry about the blades hitting each other. But you want to hold the blade up and make sure it's in the cogs. And then run the nut up with your fingers. And then you can hit it with an impact. And there you go. That's done. We just set the mower back down. And it's ready to go once the rain stops. Alright, anyway, there you go. There's how to ruin a brand new set of blades and then fix your old blades and put them back on your mower. So we'll see y'all later. I got mowing to do.